What's up, folks? I'm Dave Underkoffler, editor-in-chief of Autolist.com, back with another one-week test drive. This week's victim is the 2022 Chevy Silverado 1500. As you may know, it's been given a bit of a refresh for the 2022 model year with updates to the exterior, some changes on the inside, and some new features added. So we're going to show you all of those. And because ours is the base model with a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, we're also going to road trip to see whether we like this truck better than the V6 or V8 counterparts. So let's go spend a week with it and tell you what we think. All right, let's start with a walk around of the outside. This is the LT trim, so it's almost the base model. The only thing below it is the WT or the work truck trim. The version you see here, $52,000. So it's a bit of money, even though it's a base model with a 4-cylinder engine. That's still some coin. Some of the options you see here, these are optional 20-inch alloy wheels, the optional red paint, which I like. So for 2022, as I mentioned, there were changes to the outside. Most of those changes are in the front here. This whole front fascia and grille has been redesigned. This new bar across the top, that horizontal bar, that's new. Headlights have been a little refined, a little redesigned. I like them. A little sleeker for this model year, but still pretty burly. There's a nice little feature when you unlock. See, those daytime running lamps are normally white, but here they have that nice little signature. We'll move to the back. So last year, 2021, Chevy made available the multi-flex tailgate, which used to be just on its fancy GMC models. So it's available on the Chevy now. This is a $445 option, and I really like it. So we'll fold down the main tailgate, and then we'll see if this works. Never quite works on camera. There we go. That section folds down, and then you can fold that down for an extra step. Kind of a cool feature, decent functionality. Maybe you don't use it every day, but again, for 450 bucks, sure. And it folds all up. You can also just fold the top down. Give yourself sort of a workstation here. So that's nice, really nice feature. Glad that Chevy has included it on all of its Silverado models as an option. So let's show you the inside. All right, now to the inside of the Silverado, and this is where you really appreciate the changes they made for 2022. Let me show you the 2021 version. This is the high country, fully loaded truck. And look at that dinky little infotainment screen, right? Now back to this, much better. And that was in response to Ford and Ram both having much bigger screens in their trucks, so finally Chevy wisened up. It's a great move. This is a 13.4-inch screen here and a 12.3-inch screen here. Both standard on all new Silverado models, that's great. Also, what's nice about this is it runs on Google. So this is integrated Google Maps with Google Assistant and Google Play. So you don't even need to be using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. But if you want to use either of those systems, they come wireless, so that's great. Let me show you. There's Apple CarPlay, so that's great. One thing that has been driving me nuts is that when you go to put this car in drive, this shifter is now absolutely directly in the way of the volume knob. You cannot see this knob while you're driving with this in gear, which is really frustrating because Chevy went through the whole trouble of updating this entire setup and put this there. But the caveat is this is only a problem on models that have a console shifter like this, which is on vehicles with a bench seat. This is a bench seat here. You can see there's actually a third seat right there. Higher end trucks are going to have just 2 buckets and then a dedicated center console here, and your shifter will be down here. So you won't have the problem of this console shifter being in the way of that button. But it's been bothering me this entire time I've had the truck. You go through all this effort to change and upgrade, and then you have this sort of major ergonomic flaw. So that's annoying. Other than that, this is a really nice interior. Again, this is a pretty base trim, right? This is the LT. You still have some of the wood grain trim there. We have heated seats on our truck. You've got different USB ports here. Lots of storage, cup holders. There's more storage there. There's a little storage compartment in here. And then you've got your normal glove box down there. So all in all, great upgrades to the interior. Definitely welcome for 2022. And let me show you the back seats. All right, let's show you the back seats here. Now this is a full-size truck, right? So you can expect tons of leg room, headroom, knee room, and you definitely get it here. But there are other nice features built in. You've got armrest there, that folds up. These seats are split 60-40. You also have some hidden storage compartments back here. This is an option, but kind of nice. Some hidden storage there. There's another one behind the car seat back there. You've got USB ports down below. And then because these seats are split 60-40, they also fold up. So you can get that seat cushion out of the way for lots of extra storage space if you don't need the seat. Pretty cool. And then sliding rear window in the back, that's power operated. And then these fold out of the way if you want extra visibility. So yeah, a lot of functionality built in, as you would hope, right?
All right, let's talk powertrains. As I mentioned, this is the base engine in the Silverado lineup. So this is a 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that makes 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. And that's actually a lot of torque. That's more than you're gonna find on the 5.3 liter V8 that most people are gonna go with on the Silverado. This engine is hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission. The rest of the lineup will get a 10-speed automatic transmission. And ours is 4-wheel drive, so the EPA rates it at 17 miles per gallon in the city and 20 miles per gallon on the highway. If you do care about fuel economy, this isn't the way to go actually with the Silverado. Go with the V6 diesel. That's rated at 22 miles per gallon in the city and 26 miles per gallon on the highway.
All right, now it's time for the road trip. It's gonna be 110 miles from down here in LA up to Santa Barbara. So let's go see what this 4-cylinder engine is like, both in terms of power on the freeway and in terms of fuel economy. All right, so we've got about half an hour left in our drive up north. And so far, most of my notes haven't been that good on this 4-cylinder engine in a truck this big. For one, the fuel economy, it's good, but not great. I'll tell you what it is once we're actually there. But it's not enough to offset some of the other challenges that this engine presents. For one, it just doesn't have enough power. It feels too weak. Yes, on paper, 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque sounds like more than enough. But in the real world, when you're trying to pass somebody or you're on an on-ramp, it's not there. The thrust, the grunt, doesn't feel like sort of those robust, larger V6 turbos that Ford has in its EcoBoost trucks and Toyota has in its new Tundra. Here it just feels like a weak, sort of anemic power plant that can't keep up. And that's been pretty frustrating, especially because, like I said, in return, you're then also not getting great fuel economy. The rest of this driving experience has been pretty good once you take the engine out of the equation. The wind noise and road noise is really nicely handled in this truck. It feels solid, it feels quiet, I like that. The suspension is perfectly comfortable. Again, we've got larger 20-inch alloy wheels, but definitely not harming the ride quality. I'll also say that these seats, these are pretty basic seats, right? This is an LT model, they're not that fancy, but they're really comfortable. Good bolstering. I like them. You could definitely do a long road trip in seats like this, so that's been nice. So all in all, yeah, this is a good road trip truck. I'm pretty sure though, I'd like to just swap out the engine for something with a little more power. All right, road trip over. That was 120 miles. We averaged 52 miles per hour, and in that we got 18.8 miles per gallon. Now that's actually really good for a truck of this size. After I last checked in, the road opened up when we were able to cruise a little bit. So it's certainly good. You do still have that power deficit that I was talking about, so it's a little bit of a trade-off. How much of a trade-off? Well, I've got a few more days left with the truck, so let's see how it plays out. All right, folks, that's it. Our 1 week with the 2022 Chevy Silverado with the smaller 4-cylinder engine in it. I just checked our fuel economy and over 350 miles of testing. That's the road trip and just normal around town driving. We averaged 16 miles per gallon. And honestly, that's not that great, especially when you consider how underpowered this truck felt. So if it's our money on the line and we're buying a new Silverado, we'd opt for the 5.3 liter V8 or the V6 diesel. That's another way to save some fuel. So for reviews of this Chevy or anything else you're shopping for, be sure to check out Autolist.com. And before you go, like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. We'll see you out there.